when Rory McIlroy is in contention on Sunday at a major, which is every Sunday at every major until there's a 3-footer to decide the tournament, and then he loses, which he did yesterday, but he won in a playoff. Rory McIlroy wins the Masters in what is probably a top 2 or 3 Masters in my lifetime. I think Tiger's 4th Masters, certainly in, what was that, 2019, when he won the last one with his kid standing right there, Charlie, and his mom. And this Masters yesterday, I actually was emotional when Rory won. It was just such an incredible moment, filled with controversy, filled with live golf fans frustrated, filled with exactly what's wrong with the world of golf right now. And it actually, to me, made it a better watch to have Bryson DeChambeau, who I'm a huge fan of as well, and Rory McIlroy, who's my guy and I think the best golfer in the world right now, going head-to-head on Sunday. Bryson fell apart, was never in contention. That Justin Rose won me bread on Prize Picks. I had him at 5 birdies. He had 10 birdies yesterday. 10 birdies yesterday. And he goes to a playoff and he loses his second playoff. I think it's one of the greatest stories in sports. But here's the question I want to ask you in the comment section. Do you give a rat's ass? Because I do. It was my entire day yesterday. I flew yesterday morning home from Chicago, came right home, plopped my ass down on the couch, and did not move until that tournament was over. And I loved every swing of it. I stayed through the post game, the press conferences, the interviews. Like, I was all in on it. It was a whole thing for me yesterday. But the ratings for the first 2 days were down significantly Thursday and Friday. They were up big on Saturday. And there are some people, and we're waiting for the final round numbers from yesterday, who are thinking it's going to press 10 million viewers for a final round golf tournament at the Masters. Jake, that'd be a pretty big accomplishment.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think that, firstly, what do we need to have big TV viewership? I made this exact comparison in college during the college football season in the college football playoff. We need a story. And the story of Bryson versus Rory is one story. The story of PGA versus Live Guy is another story. And the third story is Rory going to choke again? Is the fourth story. So in my opinion, you didn't just have one story here. You had 4 stories wrapped up in one Masters. And then, of course, you've got the legacy of Rory McIlroy chasing the career Grand Slam and becoming one of 6 golfers all time, I believe it was, to do that, to accomplish the career Grand Slam and win all of the majors. And I think, watching this tournament unfold, I wasn't sure how this was going to go for Rory. I was really worried, quite frankly, after he double bogeyed the first hole. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was very concerned. And then par, birdie, and just kind of gets rolling. And then, I believe it was 9-iron from behind the trees where, it's just 7-iron, ridiculous shot over the trees onto the green. And then you felt the momentum building and you're like, all right, Rory's got this. Bryson's falling off. The putter's letting him down. And, you're like, all right, cool. And then what do we have? We chip it into the creek. And now Justin Rose is back into the picture.
I can't believe he put the ball in the creek.
So I'm watching this. And, at one point, Rory's at 14 under with I think it was a 3-shot lead. And I'm like,
it's
all
over.
Right, it's over. He's on cruise control.
It's over.
You just got to play par golf here. You don't have to do anything crazy off the tee. It's much like, you referenced Tiger's 2019 win. It was much like Tiger on the 18th during his victory, deciding driver or 3-wood, and he ultimately goes 3-wood because he only needs to par. And I'm watching Rory in regulation play the 18th, and he takes out the driver. I'm like, dude, this is one of those shots, bro.
I totally disagree. The driver was the right call. He blistered it 2 swings in a row on the 18th in the playoff. I think you got to be in your biggest pressure moments. You got to be who you are. And that's who Rory McIlroy is. The chip into the creek, unexplainable. Unexplainable. He quite literally, what was that, 13?
Yeah.
He chips it into the water without, how? He goes from a 4-shot lead to a 1-shot lead to a no-shot lead.
Yeah, it was 60-yard little chip shot. Nothing.
And then on the 18th, he hammers a drive down the fairway, pulls out a gap wedge from 127 yards, I think it was, and puts it in the bunker. And then missed a 5-foot putt to win the tournament. Then in the playoff hole, he hammers another one down the fairway.
Same yardage as
pulls
regulation.
Out, but it went 3 yards further. 124-yard gap wedge, which he says is the perfect number. Puts it within, 4 feet? Puts it to within 4 feet, wins the tournament. It just is the storybook ending you could not write. It's what golf needed.
Yeah.
But can I just ask, and I mean not to take any shine, I mean no shine off of what Rory McIlroy did. Can you explain to me why on Thursday and Friday they wouldn't put Bryson DeChambeau in the featured groups?
I think it's premise alone. That's it. Because it's not a popularity situation. Bryson's one of the most popular golfers in the sport, right? I mean, there's no question about it. And not just going off of YouTube viewership, but just a total package. Everyone enjoys watching his game. He's got a very unique swing, very unique process. Hit the most balls on the range during the week. Hit, I believe it was 1,029 balls on the range over the week, and everyone was all about that. So yeah, I mean, it definitely begs the question as to why, when Bryson was clearly and certainly in contention on Friday, why you didn't have him in a featured group. And you know, this is sort of the price I feel like live guys are still paying. It's not out loud. We're not going to say we're never going to put you in a featured group at the Masters, but you're not going to be in a featured group. And we're not going to comment on that. It's just not going to happen. And then, of course, he gave them no choice on Saturday and Sunday. But I was surprised. And to the ratings conversation.
You were surprised.
Yeah, I was a little surprised. I mean, you know, not Thursday. I mean, Thursday, you're going to go with Scotty. You're going to go with Rory. Like, you're just going to go with the staples in the sport.
But Bryson DeChambeau arguably is a bigger star than both of them.
Yeah, but
that doesn't mean he's a better golfer.
No, I know.
Right? Let's be clear.
Yeah, I think that I think the live golf situation hides in the shadows now, but is still very much a relevant thing in the community.
Yeah, I think that Bryson DeChambeau, if you put him in the featured groups, your ESPN viewership numbers are much better Thursday and Friday.
Probably.
Because he pulls. But there's also this rub between Bryson and a lot of other people. Bryson is not a popular guy amongst his fellow golfers. I think Bryson is one of the things I love about Bryson DeChambeau is he's just everybody. This story circulating about him, he is not, he's not a guy who outwardly feels pressure. He says that he slept till 10:30 on Sunday morning. He says Saturday night he was walking around the neighborhood where he was staying in Augusta and saw a party at a house with a lit up putting green. He claims to have walked into that backyard and said, "Hey, you guys mind if I putt with you?" And they're like, "Who the F are you?" And he's like, "Well, I'm Bryson DeChambeau." They're like, "No, you're not." And then when he got into the light, they could see, and he hung out with them. And I believe the story. I think that's true. I think what's very interesting is he does not seem to be very popular amongst his fellow golfers. And then he took I think this is taking a shot at Rory.
Do you speak to him in there? How's he doing? Do you know?
No idea. Didn't talk to me once all day.
Did you try and initiate conversation with Rory at all?
He wouldn't talk to me.
Why? Okay, so you don't see golfers that are in the final round of a major that is, and understand what the Masters meant to Rory McIlroy.
Yeah.
It was generationally relevant that he won the Masters to not only get the monkey off his back of 14 Masters, but to win the career Grand Slam, to achieve the career Grand Slam, to win all of the majors. He's only the, sixth guy to ever do it. It was a historically magnificent win. And you're going head to head with him, and he's supposed to be having a pal around conversation with you. That's not who Scotty Scheffler is.
No.
But would Bryson DeChambeau dare go after Scotty Scheffler? Of course not. Of course not.
Yeah, and I didn't think, I also thought that Bryson's comment here lacks, context when you think about, the U.S. Open last year. I mean, obviously, Bryson comes back on Rory. Rory obviously missed that short putt, and that went viral. And, everyone said that he choked, and he did choke. He missed a 3-foot putt that
no question.
Dude that never plays golf has no idea how hard that putt is to make on those greens. But for a professional golfer in that moment, and for a guy who is widely regarded as the best golfer in the world at that point, and just generally speaking, one of probably the 5 best golfers in the world at any given time, everybody expected him to make that, and he missed. And so for Bryson to sit here and be like, oh, well, he didn't talk to me, even though there's videos everywhere of Rory, on the number 1 tee before they get going, shaking his hand and saying, hey, whatever, just typical pleasantries before you tee off. Like, it's not Rory's responsibility to be your friend during the round. It's not like, and by the way, Rory, I agree with you. If you're Rory, you can't buy into this storyline of, hey, well, what happened last time? Like, you got to be focused on your game and playing elite golf. And that's what Rory did. So I understand the media is probably trying to work this a little bit, but for Bryson to say that, I just disagreed with it. And it's part of why, I don't respect the LIV guys a ton. Like, I think Bryson's a good dude, generally speaking, like, clearly. But the reality is you took the LIV money, and a lot of your guys who went to LIV struggled this week. And Bryson really was the only one. Him and Patrick Reed were the only two who really, made any type of noise. I mean, Patrick Reed was one putt away from being in the playoff. Like, I don't think people realize that Patrick Reed had a putt and missed, or he would have been in the playoff as well with Justin Rose and Rory.
Well, and when he missed the putt, he didn't realize that, to be fair.
Right.
But you look at the LIV guys, none of those guys play with any kind of leverage on a every other week basis. First of all, they don't play a lot of competitive golf. Their tournaments are spaced out. They don't play with the kind of leverage that is on you in a PGA Tour event. Because whether you win or lose, whether you finish first or last, you're getting paid. And you have a job. On the PGA Tour, you have guys quite literally playing so that they can play next week at the next tour stop. That's the only way that you're getting in there. You have guys yesterday fighting stroke for stroke because the top 12 in ties get automatically invited back next year to the Masters.
Yes.
And so they're watching the scoreboard, and every putt, every chip, every drive matters that much more because it's Augusta. And I think when you're playing on the LIV Golf Tour, there's no heat. There's no. So John Rahm has really struggled. Tyrrell Hatton fell apart over the weekend. You look at Dustin Johnson or Phil fell apart over the weekend. And those guys have been playing epically well on the LIV Golf circuit.
Joaquin Niemann.
Where
are you?
And the big story about Joaquin Niemann traveling the world to qualify for the DP Tour so he could play in some majors on the PGA Tour. We need to fix this, is what I'm trying to tell you. We desperately need to fix it.
Yeah.
All right, let's get your comments in here. Did you watch the Masters? Are you a fan of golf on television? Like, where do you come down on this whole thing? Because I got to tell you, and we have a video coming out on the channel if a certain lazy video cutter of ours ever does his job.
Yeah.
We played golf at Wrigley Field last Friday, and it was amazing. It was like, I am golf obsessed. So yeah, I watched. Lopes fan Gabe, good afternoon to you. But do we know how many more head coaches Devin Booker is going to get fired in his career?
Oh, we'll get to that. We're going to talk about that.
We'll get to Devin Booker, my guy. Matt Ritson, how the heck are you? Thank you. Mike Smith, Mountain Mama. Hope you had a good vacation. Well, it was kind of vacation.
Hope you had a good vacations.
Yes.
Multiple vacations.
Yes.
I like that energy.
Hey, Marty, 2 holes. Welcome back. Let's go. Hello. Danny Kiger. Hello. Sergeant Green. Hello. Steely. Hello. Jeff McFadden. He will be going to regret himself. Oh, we're going to get to Nico here in about 10 minutes. Iamali Lama and stuff. I think I know where he's going. I think I know where Nico's going. I'll tell you that coming up in a bit. T. Lawrence, hello. Poke Nate. New Mexico State to the pack. Okay.
Hey, you know, take a week off. You know, more things change.
Is the pack dead yet, Monty? I'm on the verge of just
epicness.
Awesome coughing, too. Stadium Guy James, good afternoon, everyone. I would love the afternoon show. I can't chart my work and listen to great sports talk. I can chart my work. Okay. Hope the book's coming along. Cam Harrison, hello. Old Greg. Yeah. Got the Marty Shogrum back. It felt like an eternity. It did feel like an eternity.
No doubt.
It did.
Welcome back.
Who wants to fight over what's the best conference in the country anymore? Anybody? Did you guys eat good, dudes? Did you eat good?
Yeah.
Oh, we did.
Yeah.
We did. Chewy Gonzalez. Hello, Chewy. How them Dodgers doing, bud?
Man, 21-0, and PCA is really doing great work.
16.
Oh, no, it was 21. I'm pretty sure it ended at 21.
I thought it was 16-0.
Okay,
The worst home loss in modern Dodger history.
I thought it was 21-0.
But, you know. Wasikowski, nothing about Bedard leaving the Blackhawks. He's not leaving the Blackhawks. Sergeant Green, 87 Masters was the most unbelievable I've ever witnessed. Oh, and there have been some epic ones.
Yeah.
There have been some epic ones. Did you look it up?
Yeah, 16, you're right.
Yeah, stud. Good evening, guys. Welcome back. Hello, Johnny. What's up, Johnny? Is this what the PGA Tour wanted to happen? For Rory to take the baton from Tiger and carry the league marketing A to Z golf from here until the next Phenom? I think it's possible. And my opinion is it's very interesting. And I think a lot of you guys as millennials can talk about this. I don't believe that the PGA Tour has the next great star yet. I don't believe that the NBA has the next great star yet. I believe in Major League Baseball, Mike Trout's too comfortable playing in Anaheim where they call it Los Angeles. And I don't believe that the next, like right now, if you look at the best players in baseball, right off the top of your head, best player in Major League Baseball is
Ohtani. Not even close.
Not even close.
Not even close.
I think the American millennial is not a great sports superstar. And I think in golf, because I think Rory probably goes on a run here.
Mm-hmm.
And I could see him sweeping the majors this year.
Yeah.
I mean, he's playing out of his mind, right? Scotty Scheffler is a great American golfer. But Akshay Bhatia, what do you know about him if you know him?
Mm-hmm.
Sahith Theegala, what do you know about him if you know him?
Mm-hmm.
Will Zalatoris, if you know him, what do you know about him? There's not a great personality. There's not a gravitational star like Tiger Woods. Oh, yeah, there is. It's Bryson DeChambeau. And where's Bryson? He's in invisible land known as Live Golf.
Yeah.
I think when we talk about passing the baton, it should be probably Rory to Scotty and Bryson and Scotty battle, because Rory's up in his middle to late 30. What is he, 36?
Yeah.
Born in 89?
Yeah.
Right? So he's 36. I think we have a problem with young millennial superstars that I just don't think that you look at the sub 30-year-old golfer, the Brysons, the Scotty's 28, 27, 28.
Yeah.
You look at those guys, and I just say to myself, Xander Schauffele, who had an amazing run last year, is he gravitational? No, he's not.
Yeah, I mean, I think the two guys that were really missing here is Ricky and Jordan Spieth. Those two guys, I think, in terms of marketability, Ricky Fowler was a guy who young Ricky was super marketable, and obviously the Puma thing, and everyone knows that story. But they just haven't won enough. I mean, that's the reality of the situation. I mean, Jordan Spieth, is this great personality, the token term of the Jordan Spieth experience on Sundays in a tournament. Like if you're a golf fan, you love hearing Jordan Spieth drop F-bombs when he's golfing. Like that's a thing on the tour. But the problem is that they are not superstars. They are guys that golf fans know, but Tiger Woods is universally known. Tiger Woods transcends all sports, right? Just like any of the greats have and do. And that, I think, is the difference. And I think Scotty for a time was as close to as close as we've had to Tiger when he went through the arrest thing last year and that whole debacle and just that whole thing.
But do we want the guy that gets arrested? Even like Scotty. I mean, that's about as God-fearing, good old boy from Texas who loves his wife and his kids as you're going to get.
Yeah.
God bless.
And I look at some of the other golfers. I excuse me. I just don't see it. I look at first one to reach in and get a cough drop. I think I look at the stars of this game.
Yeah.
It's Rory McIlroy because Jordan Spieth is 31. Justin Thomas is 31. Xander Schauffele's 31.
Mm-hmm.
There's not something behind them. And I really worry about the game of golf and who that next.
I guess I have more faith in Scotty. I was disappointed with his performance yesterday. And in this tournament, I felt like, he was around yesterday, but his
disappointed
Saturday,
he finished top 5.
Yeah, but for him, that's disappointing. And the expectation is you're going to win the Masters, like with all due respect to him.
Yeah.
I mean, that it should not have been Bryson and Rory. It should have been Scotty and Rory going at it to win the Masters. That's what I think, everyone really wants. And I think Scotty's the next guy in line after Rory, because I think there's this clear delineation of, when Scotty's, playing his best game, he is miles better than almost everybody.
Colin Morikawa.
Scotty is by far better than Colin Morikawa. Colin's one of the best iron players on tour that has not figured out how to win yet.
But if you look at the WGR, World Golf Rankings, excuse me, Scotty and Rory McIlroy are in a virtual tie.
Mm-hmm.
Schauffele's third, and Schauffele has played almost no events this year because of an injury. Colin Morikawa, Ludwig Oberg, Hideki Matsuyama, Russell Henley.
Yeah, you don't know who Russell Henley is.
Justin Thomas, Victor Hovland, Maverick McNeely, Bryson DeChambeau ranked 11th because of his finish at the Masters. Justin Rose, Tommy Fleetwood, Wyndham Clark, another great American. Patrick Cantlay, what a dick.
Seriously.
Right? Like, I look at up and down this list like Keegan Bradley. Older golfer. Nobody knows who he is. I worry about the sport of golf.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
Yeah.
AAR, very happy for Rory. That was a long, hard slog for a deserved green jacket. Yes, it was. Yes, it absolutely was. Newest member of the program, Danny Kiger.
Hey, Danny boy.
Let's go, DK. Good to see you. Brandon Butler gets 5.
Appreciate you.
Brandon, good to see you. Appreciate it very much. My gifted membership ran out, so had to subscribe.
See,
you went in your own pocket. We appreciate that.
appreciate you.
And then somebody gives away more free memberships. That's funny. Johnny Gonzalez, PGA Tour this weekend. I've yet to hear started stroking guys. Gotta get
I'm
stroked.
trying to have an adult conversation here, dude.
You got to get stroked. Honestly, I'd start stroking guys.
Brooks Koepka.
You just have to start stroking guys.
My guy, Brooks Koepka. I love Brooks. I never see him play golf anymore.
You got to get stroked.
On Live Golf, you never see him getting stroked, right?
Honestly, I'd start stroking guys.
It just is what it is. Eric Wasikowski, did you watch the Great 8 break the Great Ones record? No, we hate communists.
Well, that's the issue, isn't it?
What? I don't,
Wow. Wow.
Brandon Butler. I think part of the problem is we have made so many stars. There's no LeBron or Tiger anymore. I think that's very true. I think that is very true. Too many options is no options for the consumer. It dilutes the product.
Yeah.
Very interesting.
Again, I think that was part of, I mean, not part of, I mean, it's the entirety as to why Tiger was able to ascend to the level he did. I mean, you're talking about winning tournaments by 12, 13, 15 strokes.
This guy's got 15 majors.
I mean, it's a ridiculous level of domination by Tiger. And there are times when Rory has, been in that same ilk and won a lot. And I think that, golf fans, golf has exploded to a point now where Gen X and millennials are so bought into the game that I think that moment for Rory was universally regarded as one of the greatest moments in golf. Like you said, you were emotional watching it. I was too.
I was misty.
I was 100%. I mean, watching him, watching him kneeling on the green, watching, him put on the jacket and raise the trophy, and in the exchange between him and Scotty when Scotty put the jacket on him, and the video circulating of him walking around the champions locker room in clubhouse, and it just the when Rory spoke on it, and talked about how hey, I didn't realize how heavy the weight was that I was bearing. We as people can relate to that, whether it's golf or football or basketball. And I think for a guy like Rory, I was getting burned out on hey, Rory chokes and sucks and can't get it done. And then he gets over that hump. So the elation of it was what I will forever remember.
Yeah. What is winning the Masters as far as sports championships go? Is it the Super Bowl? I think, is it harder to win the Super Bowl or the Masters? I think it's probably the Masters.
I mean, I think it's the Masters, but I also golf a lot, and I can appreciate what he's doing out there.
Is it the NBA Finals? Is it Major League, the World Series? The Stanley Cup, I think, is arguably the hardest team sport championship to win. I don't know. I think it's up there. I think it's up there.
Individual, I think it's hard to compare where it ranks in terms of winning championships, but I think it's easy to have the conversation about where does his performance yesterday and that story rank amongst your greatest sporting memories for individuals. And that's one for me that ranks really high, because before yesterday happened in golf, the Tiger win was my all-time, hey, that was one of the greatest things I've ever seen and one of the happiest times. And I think that watching Rory win like that is right there. Watching the Cubs win the World Series is right there. I felt like it was more, it was like a higher prestige than just man, where does this stack up in terms of how hard this was to do? It felt like, oddly enough, it felt like more than that. It felt like, my God, this guy went through, let me get this right. This guy played 14 Masters in a row without winning, almost got divorced from his wife, choked at the U.S. Open, went through all the drama he's been through, and he finally came through. And I guess that just resonates so much. And that's why I think.
So let's see. He was accused of being gay.
Yeah.
With his caddy.
Yeah.
He was accused, then
you gotta get stroked.
In the next sentence.
His caddy.
Oh, he's not gay? Okay, he's banging a reporter from CBS.
Amanda.
Right? Amanda Balionis and he were... I just think it's been an incredible year that ended very well, in my opinion. Nick D. Hey, Nick's D. Tiger was ahead of his time, dominated golf for nearly 15 years. But what was impressive was the consistency he had. He holds so many records. It's not that we don't have another star. It's that we aren't invested into the current stars like Rory and Scotty that we were for Tiger. I think that's exactly right. I think it's really hard to...
Yeah.
I think it's really hard to understand that.
Yeah.
That's what I say. All right, so we got our golf talk out of the way.
Yeah.
That was impressive. I would also
Nice job.
like to point out you should download the Prize Picks app, you guys. Chaboy cleaned up yesterday. The Cubs are red hot right now, and we still don't have any bullpen. But I would like to point out that the Chicago Cubs on Sunday Night Baseball hooked your boy up, because I have to tell you that I had Rory at 5 birdies or better yesterday. And thankfully, he came through with 6. I would like to thank Justin Rose, who I had at 4 birdies or better. Is that, I know I'm old and I'm losing my vision. He had 10. He had 10, thankfully. And then I would like to thank the Chicago Cubs for absolutely smoke showing the LA Dodgers all weekend in Los Angeles. And good old Petey Crow Armstrong.
Yeah, PCA. Hey.
Peter Crow Armstrong, I had him at a base and a half. I didn't think he'd get it.
Dude, didn't he have
in
like
one
10
swing.
bases yesterday?
He hit a home run. Like
He had a home run and a triple.
It was amazing. It was one of the best macaque moments that I think I have had on Prize Picks in a long time. Attaboy, way to be ready. That was one of the best Prize Picks moments I've had. And that's what makes it amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
The NBA playoffs, I dominated the NCAA tournament. The SEC won the NCAA tournament. Oh, Monty, they're going to be lucky to have one team get out of the round of 64. What do you know? I know. I don't know anything. Florida. Thank you. Best conference in the country. Now we move on to the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
Major League Baseball. Here are my baseball picks tonight. Now, I should tell you, I tend to hesitate, but Jung-Ho Lee for the San Francisco Gigantes is absolutely dominating. And I'm going to go on Jung-Ho Lee. I'm going to go 1.5 singles more on a demon.
I like that.
Because he's one of the best players in Major League Baseball that nobody's talking about right now. And then good old Spencer Torkelson. He's probably the wrong Detroit Tiger to take. But, you know, it is Milwaukee. And I think I'm going to go with half a double on a demon.
A demon.
So I'm going to give him that he's going to have a double. And then I honestly, I think I shouldn't do it. I really should not do it. Hits, runs, and RBIs. How bad are the St. Louis Cardinals right now?
Not good at all.
And I'm here for it. You guys know, as a Chicago Cub fan, I'm struggling with 2. Willie Abreu, half a hit, a run, and RBI for Boston. It's him or Bobby Witt Jr., but nothing happens good in with the scumbag Kansas City Royals. So I don't think I can take that. So let's just be honest and say that we're going to go Aaron Judge for half an RBI on a demon.
Yeah.
That's going to be our board tonight. We're going to bet 20 to win 400. We're going to bet 20 to win 400.
I thought you said 400.
Verify it.
That's legit, dude.
Is
that 3 demons?
3 demons.
Demon.
$20 to win 400.
$20.
Here they are. Aaron Judge for half an RBI. I went more. Spencer Torkelson, you prick.
Hey.
Half a double. I need a double. That's probably the hardest one. And then Jung-Ho Lee, 2 singles. $20 to win 400. It's done, you maggots. And I'll show you if you don't believe me again.
Hey, man.
There it is right there. $20 to win 400. I'm telling you, that's the money on Prize Picks. They make it easy. All you have to do is download the Prize Picks app, use the promo code Monty. Here's the formula. 3 selections. That's it. Not a, hey, Monty, I got a 37 pick parlay work. No, you don't.
Dylan Cease to give up more than 4.5 hits against the Cubs tonight. Trevor Story for a single.
Why, Jake?
And Paul Skeens for more than 7.5 Ks against Washington.
I told you to stay away from the Cubs.
Nah, they're hot, dude. They're hot. They can hit. And it's Dylan Cease. Come on.
Not as hot as your mom.
Ho,
Anyway,
ho!
ho, ho!